Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's well. And it's Monday morning. We've just come out of our social media lockdown for anybody involved in football. How did everybody cope with that? It was very different. I found it very different. I did it myself, and without getting into politics too much, I think it's important that we support people within the game, not just kind of senior professionals, but more so my side, the younger lads coming through. Hopefully this might help just create a little bit of a better environment for them going forward. But anyway, vlogs. I did my first one about a month ago. It was all to do with goal setting in your life, goal setting in business. And the second video I wanted to sort of talk about and touch on is time management. So I think to achieve your goals, whatever they may be, it's absolutely critical that you're good at time management. It's a fantastic skill if you can master, very rewarding, and I'm a massive believer that it can take you far in your life if you get it right. Otherwise, it just becomes very difficult to prioritize and to actually achieve them goals because you end up being a busy fool, if you like. I think people always ask me, David, how on earth do you run a business, you go out and you get involved in football scouting. You play golf, you go to all your son's football, you do other things with your family. So kind of what's the secret? And we have a bit of a laugh about it. But it is effective time management. So I just thought I'd share a few tips. I'm not an expert. Anything I talk about, I'm far from an expert. These are just things that I've picked up and learnt myself over time and implemented and found value. So I'm not an expert, but I'm hoping that a few of these little pointers might just help somebody. So getting into time management, I think there's two sort of sides of it. There's effective time management and efficient time management. I think the mistake a lot of people make is they jump straight into trying to be efficient without actually sort of drilling down to what they should be doing. Efficiency, how can you maximize your time? But effective time management, should you actually be doing that task in the first place? Is it important? Is it going to get you results? Is it going to help you achieve your goals? And I think a lot of people do fall into that sort of trap of trying to be efficient without asking the question of yourself, why? I guess it depends on what stage you're at with regards to time management. If you feel you're in a position where everything's just all over the place and you don't really know where to turn next and how to prioritize your time, I think probably the first bit of advice would be to start measuring what your time is. What tasks are you doing? How long do they take? That can be as simple as just jotting it down on a bit of paper, or there's plenty of apps available, time management apps. I think a lot of consultants use these apps anyway to be able to bill customers, but there's lots of time management apps or time efficiency apps out there where you can really track and put your tasks down, how long you do them, and then that'll give you a real good understanding and idea of where your time is going. Probably a good example of how only thing I was going to say there is it actually trains your brain into working this way. I use it's a little bit off the sort of subject, but I use an app for my kind of personal fitness and tracking my calories. I set myself a calorie goal each day. With your exercise, it shows you how many calories you've got left. And I've been using that for about 2 months now, and it's working really well. But actually now that I've been using it, I pretty much know the type of food I like to eat. I pretty much know what calories are in. I pretty much know what sort of run or walk delivers, what back in terms of taking calories off. So I think it's just a case of training your brain to work in a certain way. But I think like if you have got a bit of a grasp on how you're spending your time, and you just maybe want a little bit of refinement, so to speak, I think it's all to do with prioritization. Make sure that whatever you're doing links back to what your goals are. What are you actually trying to achieve? It's a bit textbooky, but the 80-20 rule is a good way of looking at it. Sort of, 20% of what you do delivers 80% of your results. 20, if you're a business, 20% of your customers actually deliver 80% of your turnover. So I think it's important to really think about that. What are you going to do? What 20% of your time are you going to spend to deliver that 80% of the results? And then really focus on that 20%. Prioritize that 20%. I think sort of, if you've got 10 tasks on your list on a morning, what are the 2 tasks that are really going to make a difference? And then the other 8 tasks, do they really need to be there? And if they do, can you possibly delegate that? Appreciate everybody's in different situations. If you're working in football, you might be working in a club or a bigger agency with a bit of resource, or if you're working on your own, can you look at sort of subcontracting some of your, a virtual PA, for example? But if you don't think you can get rid of the tasks, just think about how you can actually delegate it. Diary management, absolutely key. If you're not already, make sure you use an electronic diary, because the fact that I'd like to think the days of paper diaries are gone, but you have to remember to take your diary with you, when actually these days most people have their phones with them all of the time. So I'd sort of suggest switching to electronic diary. What I always do is Sunday night is my kind of time. I do leave a bit of time Monday morning just in case I can't get onto it, but Sunday night I start sort of planning what my week ahead is going to look like. I have certain sort of non-negotiables, whether it's, it might be, one of my first priorities is because that's kind of what I want to do and where I am with my life, but my son's football. What day has he got his football on? Make sure his training's planned, and he's what days has he got matches. What football matches do I want to watch? So I'll go through all the fixtures ahead for the week and kind of put in my diary what the games I really want to watch. I check the weather. I see what the week ahead weather is going to be like, and that will determine if I'm going to have a game of golf on what day, or whether I'm possibly going to spend some time with my wife and go out for a nice walk and something to eat. So it isn't about the individual, it's about what you want to achieve and where you are in your life. But I would definitely suggest setting some time, like say mine's a Sunday night, but it could be a Monday morning, and just start to like prioritize and start sort of planning your week ahead. Don't just jump into setting yourself schedule and meetings. I think I would say like 80% of meetings don't have to be at that time or day. 80% of meetings can be another time or another day. So really think about when that meeting needs to happen, because you could end up blocking your diary up for the week again with not the 20% important stuff that's going to make a difference. Really, again, I'm keep reiterating, focusing on that 20% that really makes a difference. Some techniques that I use, I would be absolutely lost without my to-do app. For anybody who doesn't have one and wants to have a look at one, it's a very simple one. it's the number 2, then do. It helps you prioritize your tasks so you can have them into the stars, for example, important, and you can drop it all the way down to sort of less important. So I always start, when I'm planning my diary on a Sunday, I'll have my to-do app open and I'll have all the tasks that's there, and I'll start to prioritize. How I actually work day to day is there's a difference between important tasks and urgent tasks. Again, I think a lot of people just jump straight into everything's urgent when you need to ask yourself, is it important? And of course, it could be important and urgent. So I guess the best way to summarize is, like, in terms of urgency, what's the consequences if you don't get that done today? So the first thing I always do is I always start with the important and urgent tasks, and that's generally only 1 or 2 things a day. I'll start with that. I'll block time in my diary on a morning because I tend to work better in the morning. I'm more refreshed, and I'm kind of by later in the day, my brain seems to get tired quicker. So I'll start with the urgent and important things in the morning. And then I'll schedule for the afternoon, I'll schedule maybe the important tasks that are less urgent, that don't necessarily have a consequence for not doing that today, but still a very sort of important part of achieving whatever the goal that is. And again, that might be a short-term goal for that day or that week. It might be towards a medium-term goal, or it might be towards a long-term goal. But that's how I do, and then everything else gets left for later on in the afternoon. And later in the afternoon, I'll either go through them other tasks and decide whether I can get rid of them. Do they really need to be there, or can I delegate them? And then I'll spend a bit of time looking at delegating tasks, and then I'll do that process all over again. Obviously, the Sunday night thing only happens once a week, so that's a starting point. I'll start again the next morning, and I'll do the same again. I'll look at what's important and urgent, what's important but not as urgent, and then in the afternoon I'll have all the tasks that I've left, and I'll say, do I really need to do them, or can I delegate them to get done by somebody else? And just, by taking them small steps, it kind of takes the pressure off you. It makes you feel a bit better about what it is you're doing, and helps you focus a bit. Some other little techniques and tips, kind of, if that sounds a bit complicated about urgent, important and urgent, another little strategy is called 4D. So the 4Ds are do, delegate, defer, or delete. So maybe set your time up, your day up, your week up based on that. So things that you want to or you need to do, what can you defer till tomorrow or the next day? What can you delegate to somebody else? And what can you delete because it doesn't really need to be there in the first place? Multitasking. Try and avoid multitasking for the important tasks. So in the morning, I'll set myself down. I'll not check my emails very regular, if at all, in the morning. I'll switch my alerts off for social media, so my phone's not pinging and I'm going, oh, WhatsApp message. So kind of multitasking can often water down how well you do something. But also there's times where I feel that multitasking can be helpful. So if I've got a book, because a lot of my meetings have been calls, especially with everything that's going on. So if somebody wants to have, or if I want to have a telephone meeting, I'll check back into my electronic diary. I'll see when I'll be traveling. Again, that's getting more and more now. And I'll book a telephone call when I'm traveling. So obviously make sure you do it safely and on a hands-free, but it's just, again, it's maximising that time that you've got. Distractions, again, what we were saying there. Distractions are sort of try and avoid checking your emails and getting distracted by sort of other alerts and other things that's going on around you. Try and sort of work. I tend to work in the morning, sort of, you know, when the kids have kind of gone to school and it's quiet. I work from home. It's my office at home, but I tend to sort of be able to switch off and be able to sort of really spend time on the important stuff. And I guess, yeah, I've kind of rattled through a lot there. I've purposely not wanting these things to go on and on and on. I guess the only thing left to say is I have recharge time as well. So maybe when I've done my first really important and urgent first 2 tasks, I might go out for a run, listen to a podcast, I might go out for a walk, I might just have a coffee in another room, or lunchtime, sit down and have some lunch instead of trying to eat while you're working. And yeah, I think having rest time and time, even if you are into your social media and it is important for what you're doing, you know, take yourself away, sit on the sofa, go through your social media, have a look, see what's going on, reply to a couple of messages, but just have that as a bit of time out. So yeah, hope that was useful. It's something that I've kind of mastered over time. It's something I think is very important in all aspects of business. I think it's important in football recruitment for sure. I don't think you can be good at scouting and recruitment if you're not an organised and you're not sort of good at time management. So yeah, hope that's been useful. I'll have a think about what the next topic can be, and have a good Monday and have a good week, everyone. Cheers.